Hi, today we will be covering directed numbers. To put it simply, directed number is kind of like a fancy way to say positive and negative numbers. And that's pretty much it. But to make it even more obvious, we can draw ourselves a number line here and have a look. If we start at 0, we find that the numbers going to the right will always grow bigger and bigger. And then for numbers going to the left, it will always shrink smaller and smaller. So even though the positive value of 5 is bigger than 2, however, when we compare negative 5 and negative 2, then it's a completely different case. Because negative 5 is smaller than negative 2 because it is further to the left on the number line. So let's say, for example, we go even further to the left. We take negative 20 and it looks like a bigger number, but in fact, the value here is actually smaller than negative 5. So the further left you go on this number line, the value of the number is just going to get smaller and smaller. So I'm referring this as value because on the surface of this, 20 definitely looks like a bigger number, but that's just the face value. When we really consider the actual value of this, then we can say that negative 20 has a smaller value than negative 5. So that is how you can see why we call positive and negative numbers as directed numbers. The direction that we move on this number line is what best indicate the value of the number. Alright, so let's just look at another example, and in this case we take 24 minus 4. We know the answer to this is 20, but if we take a look on the number line again, what we can see is that starting from 24, we're going to move to the left by 4 steps to find 20. So this movement to the left is pretty much the essence of directed numbers, where we can also understand minus 4 as negative 4. Alright, so let's look at a few examples to solidify your understanding. Express the following situation using a directed number. Question 1, we're looking at a profit of $100. So profit means you have more money. So more means you're going bigger, and so the directed number should be a positive 100. Next, we have a fall of 24 meters. So fall kind of indicates that we are shrinking or we are going backwards. So in this case, we have a directed number of negative 24. Last question, a debt of $2,000. So a debt means you have like negative money, right? So in this case, you can also understand this as a negative directed number of 2,000. You want to always remember that when the question is trying to hint that the number is growing bigger, then it's most likely a positive directed number. And when the question is hinting at a number shrinking smaller, then it is a negative directed number. Also, for question C, here we are assuming that the baseline before we consider someone is in debt is $0. So anything below $0 is considered as being in debt. But of course, in the real world, things are a little bit more complicated. But in exams, in practice, when the question doesn't mention the baseline in this context, then we can just assume that it's 0. Alright, so that is it for this chapter covering directed numbers. For any questions or concerns, you can check the description box or leave a comment below. I will see you in the next video. Take care.